You're listening to the Just Wins podcast, where we discuss winners, black bookers, and much more. Enjoy the show.
Can he do it? Chautauqua, he's flying! Yes! There's history!
But a champion becomes a legend! McConey Deaver's won it! The pride of Australia is the greatest show on earth.
Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the Just Wins podcast. We're up to podcast number 18 for Saturday, the 29th of August. We're already into the second Group 1 of the Spring Carnival. We're into the Group 1 Memsie Stakes, which we will go over shortly. And we've also having a bit of a special edition this week with our futures bets for the 2 cups and a plate. That's the Caulfield Cup, Cox Plate and Melbourne Cup for those following at home. But first, let's check if our boys are on the line. Adam, I'll start with you. You there, mate?
I'm here, mate. Hello, everyone.
Yeah, good to have you back. And Lee, how you going?
Yeah, good. How are you boys?
Yeah, mate? I'm good. Good. Ready to rip in for another week of Group 1 action. And very interested to hear both of your thoughts later about the 2 cups and a plate. First, I think we'll go over the review as usual. Adam, how'd you go, mate?
Come crashing back down to earth last week, mate. Had a poor day at the office. Yeah, lost money, but I'm keen to bounce back this week. I only got the one collect from all my tips last week, and that was Special Reward, who I backed each way, ran third. I was a bit filthy after the race because I felt he would have won if he didn't miss the kick. He just was a bit slow away and had to work quite hard to get across to be outside the lead. Whereas I felt if he did jump well, he would have led and been much harder to beat. But he ran well, got a little bit back on him, and then the rest of them. Best Stone was ordinary. The Bostonian was average at best. Invictus Prince, we won't talk too much about that. And I did get my layup though. New King, I was happy about that. That was my best result of the day, actually getting him beat. He ran well, but just had a lot against him.
Yeah, didn't get the 20 out of 10 ride this week and ran midfield some way. Before we go, is Invictus Prince still running, mate?
Yeah, mate. He's running to a new home somewhere. I'm not too sure where he's off to. That guy.
I didn't even know he made it to the track. So
yeah, he was out the gate, put it that way, but that's all right. The Bostonian, Lee, you were on him as well. What did you make of it?
I think from the naked eye, the inside looked a bit off, and they did look like they were running pretty good clip out in front, and he just got lobbed. It was a weird run, like they didn't want to lead, but he just kind of was half a length away, sort of the whole race. So I don't know. I think he'll probably be better for it. I think there was a little bit against him. He's obviously still a really good horse. I didn't see where he ended up finishing, but somewhere midfield. And then Melody Bell was pretty poor as well. So interesting race. Obviously, mate, you had Fierce Impact along the rail, which ran really well, and that was a really good first up run. So I think we can just keep following it, can't we?
Yeah, it was a great run. It was I was actually more expecting it to get out on the crown of the track, which I thought, but once he got bundled away on the rail, he sort of had no other choice. But yeah, it was weird. Like even watching the race, I thought, he's not going to get close here, and he only finished like less than half a length off. So, but I think that'll be a ripping form line, that race to follow into the spring ahead. And I went all right last weekend, doubled the money. Chico Milagro first up. I come second, beaten by Chauffeur, which was a big form reversal, but good on the team there for winning. Probably just was a bit fresh, did a few things wrong, but I don't think it's worth jumping off him just yet. Race 6 had Wild Fortune, which ran about 5th or 6th, and Lady Bramos, who was the best of the closers at about $16, so ran third. I think we can stick with Lady Bramos. There'll be a race for her possibly at Eagle Farm. And then, race 7, Archer's Paradox was absolutely smashed. It was $10 or $11 when given out on here on the Thursday night, and then started about $5, I think it was. And to be honest, obviously won, but I thought Stellar Power, it was 3 wide no cover, which was the other tip in that race. 3 wide no cover and came again, just missed. So it's definitely probably should have won that race and one to follow. And my lay say higher, no good. So that was good for me. And Run for Glory finished it off. Just got that perfect run as expected. We got us the win, which is half the battle at Doomben. There was couple of good horses in behind that had no luck, and we can follow from then on. And then Mrs. Brown's boys out at Belmont ran a nice third for our Roughie Roulette. I think, Lee, you got your Roughie Roulette up, didn't you?
Yeah, Chosen Blonde. She ended up running.
Chosen Blonde.
Ran a place at Moonee Valley there before it got called off.
Yeah, it was it was good $5 a place there, and as you said, they just got abandoned, and which was a bit of a shame because you laid Windstorm and it was $2 out to 3, so not to be. And then your Perth bloody Maltese, second leg as usual.
Yeah, I think that leader, the winner, just kept kicking, and she just couldn't get there, leading girl, but it was still a good run. Don't get me wrong, just didn't get the chocolates on the day. But yeah, Moonee Valley, it was disgraceful. It looked like it was the last day of Warrnambool Carnival, and every race looked like a jumps race the way they were coming in. So yeah, that was terrible. I thought it should have been called off well before then. Just look at the last race. If you get a chance, Jittery Jack won by panels, and I think there was probably from first to last was probably at least 30 lengths, and I think it was 1400 or 1500 meter race. So. It was awful.
Yeah, it was a bit of a shocker, wasn't it? But we push on. Adam, did you have anything to follow from last week?
I just wanted to follow up on Imaging. I know I thrown him out to follow a couple of weeks back, but he would have won that race if he drew a gate. He drew out in the car park in the Group 1 Winks, and flashed home for a great fourth, not beaten far. So still keen to follow him up and trip up to a mile. I think there's a race in that guy. So he's definitely one to follow. And I do have another couple to follow, but I'll bring them up in the Cups and Plate, I think.
Oh, all right. Well, I'll refrain from giving one of mine out too, because that'll come up a bit later. The other one I think we can follow was a Brizzy horse that was down in Sydney called Looks Like Elvis. Was first up over the unsuitable distance and was given a very quiet ride, but finished off well. Never saw daylight in the straight. So I think getting him out over a bit of a trip, he will definitely be running well for the Bjorn Baker yard. Lee, did you have anything, mate?
No, nothing to follow for me.
All right. Well, that makes it easy. I guess we better get into the Group 1 banter first. And as we said, we've got the Group 1 Memsie Stakes at Caulfield this week. I think it looks a bit of a shallow Group 1. What do you reckon, Lee?
It looks a good field because they all look similar sort of quality. So, I'm not going to have a bet in it because I think there's plenty of chances. And I'd just rather watch it because there's a few that we've spoken about previously, Mystic Journey, and a few. There's a few out of that race that it could come out and run better, but it's just blanket job. I don't really know in that. So, but you're probably right. It doesn't look super deep, but they just all look similar sort of quality. So.
All right. Well, you'll be drinking some milk later, I suppose.
We'll see what happens. If you boys have a bet and you lose, then I'll have the last laugh, won't I?
Oh, well, we'll see what Adam says first. What do you think, Adam?
I'm going to have a bet, mate. As I do agree, it isn't the thickest race, and that's why I want to follow up on Mystic again. I was very disappointed with her first up, and I'm taking a chance that was just a run. The way the race was run, where she was positioned wide and back, just wasn't suitable. And I just think I think she's $10, maybe $9 now. At that price, I'm keen to have a go because she's drawn better this week. She'll get some cover. She'll be better than midfield, not far off the pace. There should be a genuine tempo this week with Be Good to Your Mother, ensuring that. Whereas, the PB Lawrence was run at a farcical pace. So hopefully she can produce her best, and I'm going to have half a unit each way at her at that price.
Yeah, she's $9 $2.50 and $3.10. Mate, I sent you during the week something about her having some hind, what was it? Some strapping to her hind legs.
She has bandages on, but she actually, I looked into that again, and that was actually on before her first up run. They made that change on the 14th of August, and that first up run was the 15th. So, there might be a problem there, but I just think she's too good of a horse to let go around at that price, to be honest.
Yeah, well, that's some good intel for the followers out there, because you see those gear changes and you put a line through usually straight away. But if it's happened before, then it's good to give her a second chance. And as you said, they just got a bit too far back and wide, and you had to be close to the rail in that PB Lawrence.
Yeah, that's it, mate.
Yeah. As I said, I thought it was a very open race. The last time a mare won this race was Atlantic Jewel in 2014. So you've got to be a pretty good mare. And there's been some very distinguished weight for age boys, which is the Colts and Geldings, winning since. Savatiano pops up favourite, but history is against her on this fact. She just reminds me very similar to Elise last year, ran third to Scales of Justice. In saying that, though, this year's edition is very weak without any real weight for age stars of old. So I'm just going to have a throw at the stumps with Streets of Avalon, who was pretty much a pen job last start behind Savatiano. He's no good on the soft track, and we'll probably get a good 4 on Saturday, which is handy for those Melbourne punters. Sat handy last run, but wobbled around the bend and wasn't fully tested in the end. Drawn the widest here on Saturday, but has the early speed to cross and lead. If he can pinch some cheap sectionals out in front, most likely with Be Good to Your Mother or Glenn Fiddish, he could pinch it. And I'm going to have half a unit each way at $23 and $6 the place. And, boys, that's going to be my Roughie Roulette as well. So we'll get that one out of the way early. So it's good to see both of us having a bet at double figures, yep, just about. Missy Journey's $9.50 and Lee's staying out of it.
Can I just say something quickly, mate, about that race? I just wanted to quickly mention Behemoth's in that, and I know Lee and I both said to follow him. I'm just concerned about his gate and where he gets to from that gate. I think he could encounter some traffic problems, so that's why I've let him go this week.
Yep, and I thought for sure Lee would have tipped Arcadia. What is it? What's the name again? Arcadia Queen. Yeah.
Nah, not for me in that.
Not for you. All right.
I just think those 2 runs in Sydney. I mean, you could make a case that there was there was some excuse in the Everest, but they just weren't good enough for me. So I just want to see her again and see if she's come back any good, and see if she's settled into Melbourne or the Eastern Coast. So, if she wins, good on her. But I'm happy to let her go.
Yep, fair enough. No, that's all good. Let's get a win up there for the boys on the weekend at good odds. While we're on the Group 1s, I guess we better get into the 2 cups and a plate. Let's start off with Caulfield Cup, which is usually the most interesting one. Lee, do you want to start us off since you didn't have a bet then?
Yeah, mate. Caulfield Cup, I've just gone, I had a look over the years, and a pretty good, massive stat. I think 14 of the last 26 winners have been 4-year-olds. So the one I'm going to lean to is just the horse on the rise, and the horse that I don't think will quite get the Melbourne Cup trip yet, but I think will definitely be a really good horse over 2,400 this prep, and that's Canane at $21. I think he's explosive. He's only had a handful of starts. He fits right into the type of horse that you've seen win the Caulfield Cup recently. So, I'm happy to be on him at that price this early on.
Yeah. What did you make of his run on the weekend?
I thought it was okay. It was probably what was expected, really, apart from maybe the market support. I mean, he was only really in the market, as he sort of spoke about, because he's just got class, and I think it was just a run. Yeah, I don't think you can read too much into it. It was just okay, which is probably what a lot of good punters are really sort of expecting on the day. So,
yeah, absolutely. Just those lead-up runs into the Caulfield Cup. Adam, what do you think?
I'm in agreement, mate. I've got down here Canane, $21.
Double get on.
Double, yeah. That's pretty surprising this far out, isn't it? But he's as Lee said, 4-year-old, and you guys said that was just a run on the weekend. I thought it was a really good run. I thought it was a great return. He was doing great work through the line. Yes, it was a lower grade race, but that's what I wanted to see from him, and he's returned in good order. He's going to keep improving as he goes up in trip and hopefully gets in with that light weight and, runs away with it.
Oh, gee whiz, the old Canane double get on at $21. Well, I didn't know the 4-year-old stat. However, I have gone with the 4-year-old in Zabrowski at $30 for the Hawks team. I really liked its finish last run in that Wink Stakes, as we talked about. It was just out the back and then came home with a head full of steam, and it ran second to Quick Thinker in both the Tulloch and the Derby last prep. But, yeah, as I said, that last run was very encouraging. If there's going to be a wet track on the day, that's no problem either because it laps it up. And I think it's by Savabeel, and I think it's just turned the corner again as a 4-year-old and may have improved upon that. And the Caulfield Cup is its grand final. So that's Zabrowski at $30, and we've gone around the favourites there. Adam, I'll start with you with the Cox Plate then. It'll be interesting to see if you both are in agreement with this one.
Yeah, see what happens, mate. I'm up towards the top of the market in the Cox Plate. Tend to see the better horses win a Cox Plate, of course, the top weight for age horses. And I think the best middle distance weight for age horse in Australia at present is Very Elegant. So that's where I'm going to be looking. She returned. It was a great win on the weekend. I didn't expect her to win. I actually was keen to lay her, and yeah, she tough win, done the job. So she's returned in good order, and I'm pretty sure they're going to have her aim towards this race this year, whereas last year they were a bit unsure where they were going. I felt they should have probably went to the Caulfield Cup last year, but ended up changing their minds late and going to the Cox Plate. She didn't go very well, but I think she's a much better horse this year, and they can aim her towards that, and hopefully there's no Liga Assures or anything like that around this year, so she should be right in it.
Yeah, she ran obviously very well on the weekend to win that and kick back as well. I think last prep they just were trying to settle her down a bit because she used to pull her head off during the races, and she seems to have done that well. And as you said, to come back like that, she'll be a big chance. Lee, you going with Very Elegant too?
I actually am, yes.
What are the chances?
Yeah, what are the chances? Let's just get on now. Line up.
How much are we getting for that? $11?
$11.
$11, yeah, for her. So I agree with pretty much everything that Adzi said, and then what you just spoke about there, Just Wins as well. I feel that she came back last autumn a much calmer horse. You've spoken about how she used to throw her head around. She used to do lots wrong. And we saw that in, I think it was a Derby, Oaks prep, where she started favourite for the Oaks and just sort of threw it away by just over racing the whole race. But I think she ran third or fourth or something like that. And she's obviously got quality, and I went through the same thinking as Adzi in terms of I was just looking for the best weight for age horse in Australia, and I just think she's the one for me. So her. And then I was just going to mention I'm not sure if he's going to come over, and we spoke about just before this podcast. Obviously, there's some horses that will get some exemption from Europe to come over. There's a horse that I like called Sir Dragonet, which is $13. We'll see.
Kieran Maher, isn't it?
Yeah, he's definitely coming.
He's definitely coming.
I think he's over here, I think.
Yeah, that Aussie Kia guy bought him, that big owner. Yeah.
Gotcha. There you go. So I think he could run a big race. His form over in the UK has been really good around the 2,000, 2,400 metre. I think he ran second in a Ascot Cup or something like that. So he's got a bit of class about him. So I feel if there's anything that's going to challenge Very Elegant, it's probably going to be one of the Europeans that might come over, and if he settles into Australian conditions, he can definitely be a chance in that.
Yeah, that's fair enough. It's extremely difficult, even though we're 6 or 7 weeks out from the Melbourne Cup, to even get a guide on who's coming over. I know there's nominations and whatnot, but half of them will pull it at the last minute, and a lot of them have had interrupted preps overseas. So it's a real basket case, and I think that'll shine through with our tips that we're giving out today. For me, I've gone Russian Camelot at $13. He's a superstar, this bloke. And I think the Cox Plate is his distance because he has that amazing turn of foot. And I think he can win with 56.5 kilos. So he's right on track. We'll see him step up soon for his first race of the prep. And, I can see him being there at the finish at $13. So I'll go against you guys again. Melbourne Cup, I'll start off this time. I'm sticking with the favourite, Surprise Baby. $10 at the moment. It's too short, but I think finishing 0.9 of a length behind Vow declared last year warrants that early favouritism again, particularly with the likelihood of the Euros not coming. Hard to take $10 now, as I said, but I think this field is going to be a lot sharper in terms of, the form's going to be in the top end. There's not going to be a widespread, you're not going to have your $40 European shots being able to run the distance and run a good race. So I'm expecting big things from this bloke again. Adam, what do you think?
You're not going to believe it, mate, but I agree. Okay, I'm going with Surprise Baby as well. Agree. I think it's all about the Aussie horses this year. I'm actually looking forward to seeing predominantly Australian horses in the race. So I hope that eventuates just for something different. But I think this guy's a really top-notch stayer. He's got a heap of class. I think he's got a bit of weight for age class about him too. But I like the fact that they've just kept him for this Melbourne Cup. Their preparation is all just geared towards this for the last 12 months leading into this race. They've kept his weight down as a result. He's in good nick, and I'm expecting him to run some good lead-up runs and, be cherry ripe on the first Tuesday in November. We saw his run last year. It was massive. He flew home. Obviously, no real speed up in front didn't suit him, but he was, in my opinion, the clear run of the race. So hopefully he turns up in good order and gets the job done.
Yeah, I think I usually don't like backing him when they've had a run before in the Melbourne Cup and not won. But I think as we pointed out, it's just this condensed nature of the form this year that brings him right into it. So, Lee, what do you think, mate?
Right. You boys probably give me a bit of flack for what I'm going to talk about now, but I just want to run through, I guess, my thoughts behind it and where I'm looking. I've had been fortunate enough to have some pretty good success lately.
Invictus Prince?
What's that?
Invictus Prince?
Who's that?
He's still running, mate.
That thing.
That's exactly what Adam said last week when he was about to give it out. He goes, "I'll just give it. I've got a feeling about this."
But I've been, like I said, fortunate enough to have some really good success over the last sort of decade and a bit in the Cup.
Talk yourself up.
I will, mate. I think I've got.
Here we go.
I only missed a placing once in the last since 2009. That was in Green Moon's year. So I don't know. That's pretty good form lines, mate. But anyway, so my thoughts around the Cup are always I want to forward a 6-year-old that's fairly lightly raced and can be explosive. Will get in under 55 kilos and has raced won or placed at 2,400 metres or further before, and having their first start in the Cup is usually what I look for. So I've got 6 horses listed down here that fit the bill. I'm definitely going to get about one that I think's the top one. But the 6 horses that I looked at are Actau, Colette, Django Freeman, King of Lear Grants, Mugatu, Nancho, Mugatu, yeah, that one, Russian Camelot, and then Shared Ambition. The one I'm going to lean towards, though, is King of Lear Grants at $19. I just think he's just turned a leaf in those last sort of 3 or 4 runs in Australia. He was brilliant. In the Adelaide Cup, he just put them away like they were standing still, and then came out was just good enough in his next start. So, obviously we know that the Williams can have something cherry ripe for a Cup, and I just think he might be he just might be the right sort of horse and might come in at the right sort of weight. And he's who I want to be on. I do want to have a little saver about a little known horse called Nancho, who I didn't mention, who's come over. He's not necessarily the right trainer, in my opinion, with Anthony Cummins, but he's a Hungarian horse who I don't think we've ever seen a Hungarian horse in Australia before. But he looks a freak. Like, he won 11 races over there, and his last 2 starts were in Germany. and they were really good. His last start, he won a group race over there, over 2,400. So at $51, he could be a little smoky at this point, where it's just he's flown under the radar because we don't really know much about him. So I'm definitely going to be watching him and see how he starts the spring off.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how he goes. I think the Hungarian horses, I think Anthony Friedman had one of them. I just can't think of his name at the moment. But, yeah, it won the German Derby, I think it was, over there. So has the credentials similar to Protectionist, just whether that form is strong enough and whether it's improved since coming here like Protectionist did. But, it's a King of League Grant's definitely a chance, and it obviously depends on how it comes up. I think it's running on Saturday, which will be interesting, and I'll have to hear your thoughts on that a bit later, Lee. But that's our rundown of the 2 cups and a plate. The double get-ons are Canaan at $21 in the Caulfield Cup. Very elegant, and Russian Camelot are definitely in the mix. They're the 2 favourites in the Cox Plate we've narrowed down. And then the Melbourne Cup, Surprise Baby, and gets a double get-on, and King of Lear Grant. So it'll be very interesting, as we said, to see if the Europeans get over and how they pull up. But that's our tips at the moment. Adam, we got Rosehill on the weekend, and it looks like we're going to get a good track for once.
You wouldn't read about it, would you? Good for Thursday morning. We haven't seen that in a good 3 months, I'd say. So very exciting. We've got a good card there at Rosehill this Saturday. 3 Group 3s, including a cracking race in the San Domenico. We've got Anders versus Doubtland and that Mama Ragan, whatever it's called. There's a couple of really good horses in that. So that's an exciting race to look forward to. I'm not betting in that race, but that's definitely the highlight of the card. I've got quite a few tips today. I'll get through them quite quickly, but the first one comes up in race 2, and it's the top weight Yulong base for Cody Morgan and Andrew Gibbons. Lightly raced 5-year-old, this one. Never missed a place. Goes good. It's 2 starts back. It won a big maiden at Grafton during their carnival. Quite a tidy, stylish win. I feel this race is quite weak. There's nothing really in it. It's probably the weakest highway I've seen in ages. He is drawn quite well in the middle there in gate 9. I'm expecting him to be midfield with cover and hopefully prove too good. So I'm going to have a unit of win on him at $3.20. Yep,
he gets the blinkers off first time here. They're stretching him out beyond 1,200, so I guess that's why.
Yeah, and he has been hitting the line quite well, so I think that gear change and a decent run in transit should have no problems with him at that trip.
Yep.
And then just my best value here, just at an each way price, is in race 4, number 7, Pressure for Bjorn Baker and Tim Clark. This is a go-forward mare, racing well. She's in her first prep for Bjorn Baker. She used to be with Matt Cumani down in Victoria. Last start, he struck a wet track and just got beat by Monsieur Sissou, who's an absolute swimmer. This week, there's not a lot of speed in this. I think from gate 2, she'll lead, control it. We know Tim Clark is great on a leader, so hopefully she gets some cheap splits and can kick away and hold them out late at $8 for half a unit each way.
Yep, that's $8 and $2.80 half a unit each way. Yep.
Nice. And then probably my best bet, I'm going to call this my best bet, comes up in race 7, number 4, Overlord for Waller and J-Mac. Probably have to be nearly the best maiden in Australia, this guy, or near enough to it. First up here over 1,400. He, last prep, ran some cracking races. He was getting well back most of the time and flashing home late. His last run before a spell was in the JJ Atkins behind Rothfire. He drew the car park. They had no choice to go back. He was a clear last turning for home and, flew home with limited space to run a tidy 4th. I'm thinking this week, this start, he's got that inside gate and there's not a lot of speed in this. Holyfield will definitely go forward and lead, but the rest of them are probably looking to take a sit. So I think they'll kick him up and sit handy enough midfield somewhere. He will need a little bit of luck, but if he can get it, I think he'll be too good for them. So I'm going to have 1.5 units a win at the $2.50 on him.
Yep, as you said, he's still a colt as well, this prep, being out of red traces. So the Grimishes are definitely trying for a stallion there, and hopefully he can get the win for him.
Yep, fingers crossed. And then one more. Last one comes up in the get out, the last race. I'm going with the same combo I went with earlier. So number 7, prime candidate for Bjorn Baker and Tim Clark. Another go forward type for this combo. Very consistent horse. He's racing well this prep, but he has been on wet ground all 3 starts, and he's much better on top of the ground. They've held him back for had a little let up there. They're giving him 5 weeks off, just waiting for it to dry up, I assume. So they've struck the dry track this week. Last prep, he ran some great races behind some good horses. He was around the mark with horses like Sweet Deal, Sweet Scandal, Grey Worm, who's a top horse who we all have a soft spot for. He was right around the money with those types of horses. So I'm thinking they'll have him ready to peak here today. He will go forward, should lead, should control it again, and hopefully be too good. And I'm going to have an each-way bet just because I do have a lot of respect for Subpoenaed. So I'm going to back him 3/4 of a unit each way at the $5.50, and I think about $2.15 the place.
Yeah, $2.20 the place. That's fair enough, mate. Just the 4 there.
Yeah, that's all, mate, until the Roughie.
All right. Bit of a summary for those playing at home. Race 2, Yulong Base at $3.20 for the win. Race 4, Pressure, $8 and $2.80 for half a unit each way. Race 7, Overlord, $2.50 for 1.5 units the win. And race 9, Prime Candidate each way for 0.75 units at $5.50 and $2.20. Thanks, Adam, and best of luck as usual. Lee, you're at Caulfield for a massive day. I know you're keen. What have you got for us?
All right, we're going to lead off with 2. Before I get into it, can I just chuck a comment Adsy's way? That San Domenico, obviously 6-horse field, but it looks, gee whiz, it looks good.
It's a cracker, mate.
What are you leaning towards, mate? What's your initial thoughts on it?
Well, I'll shed some more light when I get to my lay of the day, but my initial thoughts is actually Marmaragan. That's who I tend to lean to. He's a good horse. He obviously ran in the good races straight away. They put him straight in the deep end. He ran 3rd in the Slipper, 3rd in the Size Produce, won the Skyline first up. So I'm expecting him to improve as a 3-year-old, and that's who I lean to. But it's such a good race. I'm really just looking forward to it as a racing fan more so than having a bet.
100%, yeah, mate. You don't get many 6-horse fields that you're really looking forward to these days. So it looks outstanding on paper.
Yeah, it does. And, Doubtland's a hell of a horse. We know Anders is a hell of a horse. Peltzer, yeah, it's a cracker. I'm so keen for it.
Awesome.
And on top of the ground as well.
Yep,
absolutely. Be interesting.
Yep. All right, Lee.
All right, rip into the tips. So
yep.
I'm not keen on too much early, so I've gone back-to-back races at the end of the card. So to start off the quaddie, I've gone race 6, number 12, Hummer.
It's not the quaddie, mate.
Isn't it? Or is it 10 races?
No. Yeah, 10 races. Huge card.
Huge.
Yep.
Well, there you go.
Race 6.
Race 6, number 12. Yeah, Hummer. I want to have half a unit by 1 unit each way on her at $11 and $3.40. Just going back over the data for the last 2 years, you can win from absolutely anywhere over the 1,100 metres at Caulfield. I was actually really surprised. There were 7 winners that came from a 3-wide position over the 1,100 at Caulfield with Rail in the True. So I think it's going to give every horse any opportunity, and I'm just happy to back her as a backmarker or a midfield sort of horse that will come from behind off a hot tempo. This mare has always been there or thereabouts in this sort of company and finally broke through for her first group win last start. She's come along big time in the last 12 months, having won 3 of her 8 starts in that time. Her only real fails in that time, she has been just a victim of circumstance, either getting back on a leader bias track or a Tab Classic run in the winter where she was 5 wide with no cover. She shouldn't have that trouble in this from barrier 5. I feel she should be able to posse up midfield, one off the fence, outside liar, and be able to get the splits in the straight. She's good Caulfield 1,100 metre form with her only run outside of the top 2 in 4 goes coming in last year's Oakley Plate, where the on-pace bias on that day was absolutely horrific. The drying track is a massive plus as well, as the fact that Mott jumps back on, who has 4 wins and 6 placings from her 14 starts, and including 2 wins from his last 3 on her. So I just think she's a big price for a good mare, and I want to be on her.
Yeah, I'll give you $10 and $3.25.
Oh, not this.
I'm cutting you down. They've come for it, I swear. But does Mott usually run at 56.5 kilos, or is he cut weight?
Good question, mate. I don't.
That'd be about as low as he can get.
Yeah, I don't know what he carries, but I just noticed that. Anyways, that's a good start in race 6, Hummer. Next one, mate.
And then on to race 7. I think this is just absolutely the best of the day. Number 1, Tangaloa. I want to have 1.5 units on him at $4. You're going to take that from me, or you?
$4 at Betstar. Okay. That's the one.
You'll be guilty. I'm a big fan of this guy. If his jump out is anything to go by, he's come back in good order. Obviously won the Blue Diamond in the autumn, was very good in the slipper. He gets into this unbelievably well under the set weights and penalties condition, having to concede between only 1 to 2.5 kilos to his rivals, but they spot him 20 to 39 rating points. This race has always been a proven starting point for good horses, with horses like Super Seth, Merchant Navy, Star Spangled Banner, Scenic Blast, Miss Finland and Bella Spree all on the honour roll from the last 20 years. It's evident that those at the top of the ratings have been the ones to dominate as well, with only 7 of the last 19 winners coming from outside of the top 4 saddle cloths, and 4 of those were fillies, so they obviously naturally get in a bit lighter. Considering there is no fillies in this, that reads well for Tangaloa. He draws well to go forward or back, depending on how the track is playing. But on speed back, I've just got him in a good spot, 2 or 3 pairs back, 1 off the fence. Walker knows him well, and the blinkers go on for the first time, which I think will work wonders for this colt. If he's anywhere near his best, he puts these away, and I think $4 is just silly odds for him.
Yeah, he's got the blinkers on, which is good because there doesn't look to be a lot of pace in this early. So even though you're probably looking at him going fast, he does position quite well. So, yeah, I know you've got a soft spot for him, so it'll be good for Mickey Walker to get him over the line for you there in race 7. Next up, mate.
That's it for me, just those 2.
That's it. Race 6, Hummer at $10 and $3.25 for half a unit the win, 1 unit the place. And race 7, Tangaloa, $4 for the 1 unit the win. Mate,
1.5 units, mate.
1.5 units the win. All right, we'll go straight out. Yeah. Mate, what about Gamekeeper?
Yeah, good question. I probably thought this was going to come up. He's just drawn really awkwardly. I've never seen him in any start sort of go even push up a couple of pairs back off the leader. Like all his runs has been midfield. So I don't know where he gets to, and I just feel that he might just get pushed back a couple of pairs back on the rail and not be able to get any luck. The other thing in that race is there's a lot of unknowns about a lot of the runners. Obviously, they're all first up, majority of them anyway. So, I just wanted to stay away. If it was each way odds, I'd probably have a look at him. But at $4, I just think he's a little bit unders for where he might get to in the run from that draw.
Yeah, fair enough, and he goes up to 1,800 as well. But I think he can definitely handle that. It's just a big jump, which is a little bit unusual, but that stable is an excellent stable, so they know what they're doing. All right, mate, just the 2 then. I will be at Eagle Farm this weekend, and it looks like an absolute jaffer of a day. Perfect weather all week, no real wind around, just a beautiful day. I've got the 2 here. Race 4, I'm going to have a Tommy 2-bet. I'm going to back Woman of Gold at $4.80 for 0.75 of a unit the win. The comment is up against the boys this week, but Woman of Gold drops back from the No Metro wins grade to a Class 4, Class 5 sort of grade against these. There's about 5 chances in this, hence the $5-ish odds. Last run, the margin was a bit unfair and over-exaggerates the run with She's Our Boss absolutely caning them, which was good for us. But Woman of Gold was at least a length ahead of third, so it showed that they're a couple of good quality horses or mares. Back to 1,200 is the key, and Frad jumps on. Deserves a win, and with enough pace on can come over them late. The second bet in that race, I'm going a bit wider with No Doubt a Cracker at $16 for 0.25 of a unit to win. As I said, if there's enough pace up in front, No Doubt a Cracker comes right into the equation and is over the odds. I see it's already 18 into $16. Beat some handy horses last run at the Gold Coast, albeit in lower grade, but has won previously in town. Hasn't won second up from 4 starts, however, has never been disgraced. And I just think in that price, I just want to have a shilling there just in case. So that's race 4, Woman of Gold, $4.80 for 0.75 the unit the win, and No Doubt a Cracker, $16 for a quarter unit win. And then in race 7, I'm going on Ginger Rock at $6 and $2.20 for half a unit each way. I respect both Persuader and Love Struck, and both of them can still win, even though they gain a couple of kilos each from their previous runs, but they're obviously the class horses. Ginger Rock goes from a Class 3 midweek race into a Saturday grade benchmark 80. However, she has had to be considered a strong hope in this. She put it all together this prep, winning her last 2, especially last run at Doomben with the rail out 9 metres, was able to gather them from last on the rail and winning with plenty in hand, which is excellent to see. Punters smashed her that day also, even with the track bias, as you'd usually get with the rail out at Doomben. Previous run won a Saturday 3-year-old race, again storming home. Looks to be strong pace in this race on Saturday, which will help her chances. Drops to 54 kilos and from barrier 2, Frad can stick her midfield defence and let down again. Eagle Farm definitely helps for her style of racing. So that's just the 2 for me. And I guess we'll get into the lay of the day now, unless you boys want to ask me a question.
Mate, happy go lucky in that race. Yeah.
I think it'll get scratched, mate. He's been nominated for 2 races, race 7 and the last race, and both of them he doesn't have a jockey. But I was looking forward to him running in that, and it probably would have suited him. So, but not to be. I'd say he'll run next week. I don't know where. Eagle Farm definitely would have been his go. Lay of the day.
What? Did we just
Start a new segment?
Yup. You want to go?
Lay some favourites in the podcast.
Yup.
Lay of the day, Adam. You were talking about the big race at Rosehill.
Yeah, mate. I'm looking at race 5, the San Domenico. I'm going to lay Anders. I know he's a good horse, and I know we've had luck with him, but this is tougher than last start. Last start he bolted in, but he only beat home Old Kirk, who had 5 kilos more than him. He's not getting that type of weight off him this week. This is on top of the ground as well, where all those good wins we've seen from him have been on wet tracks. He's not going to lead. There's good speed on the inside that'll probably kick up in every Rose and Peltzer, so he'll have to take a sit this week. And whether he's as good a horse taking a sit or not, we don't know. So I'm keen to take him on at the $3.20 with the quality in that race.
All right, $3.20 going for 5 straight. Adam, 5 straight winning lays. That's a good lead for punters. Lee, what are you thinking at Caulfield?
All right, I need to break the curse, don't I? Haven't been off to a good start with these lays, but anyway, we'll see if we can get it back. And I'm going to very early race 1, number 5 per San at $2.70. I'm just happy to go against the fact that this will be a lot tougher, 2,400 metres than the 2 goes at this sort of trip against the 3-year-olds this guy has had in the past. This is only the 4th time in his now 17th start he has run out of his age group. And those first 3 were in 2 maidens and a 64 earlier this year. So this is obviously going to be a lot harder and a lot tougher for him. He now takes on hard fit seasoned gallopers, and the 5 weeks break in between runs I don't think will be ideal for this sort of scenario. He also hasn't ever won on a good track in 9 goes. So I'm definitely leaning towards horses like Tabby Run or WT in there. So happy to take him on.
Happy to take on race 1 per San to get the bookies off to a good start at $2.70 for Lee. And as you pointed out, there's a couple of good hopes in there to knock him off, including Tabby Run, who bolted away with it last week. So, should be a great race to start off for us boys, hopefully. I'm at race 5 at Eagle Farm. I'm laying Skate to Paris. She's come out to 440 now, which is a bit. I think she opened at 380. So I'm going to be the longest priced lay out of us three for the week, but that's okay.
Bit of adsy about that one, mate.
A little bit of adsy, but as long as it gets,
it's not that bad.
as long $6.50. It's a bit different, but. Skate to Paris, sparkling form of late, winning 2 in a row and loves the track and distance. Sounds like a tip, doesn't it?
Yep.
Has had 2 genuinely 10 out of 10 steers to win both races. Smallish field on Saturday and may get pushed back closer to the tail. So Cassidy may have to get that gun run along the rail. Previous run over the mile got a gift run and beat up middle distance horses back in trips, with the likes of Happy Go Plucky and Ruby Guru gaining ground late. Forced to head back to 1400 on Saturday instead of the 1825 metre open later in the day. 2 runs back, 1 over 1400 metres. However, Smart Edge gets 3.5 kilo weight swing on her and was 3 wide, no cover that day, beaten only 1.65 lengths. Some quality horses running Saturday, including Supergiant, who will bowl along. This is also the Candyman's last run before heading down south. You've got Junction, who steps up to a preferable distance after winning last week over 1200. And you've got Snitch, who drops in weight and goes better second up. And I'm even throwing in Articus as a bit of a chance at odds. I think it's about $19. That's enough for me to oppose her, given the market rates are about a 25% chance of winning. So I think $4.40, hopefully we can get the lay there and continue on our merry ways. Boys, that's the lays. I like them a lot. We can start off at about 11:30. I think race 1 at Caulfield will be, so that'll be a great start to the day. Around the grounds, boys, have you got anything? Adam, I'll start with you.
No, nothing around the grounds, mate. Just my roughie to come, that's all.
Just your roughie to come. Lee, I think you're going to say something that I'm going to say, but you go first.
Oh, okay. No worries. I'm just going to back up on one that we've already backed previously in Belmont, race 8, number 3, Nero Dio. I want to have 1 by 2 units each way on him at $5 and $1.90. Just got down here that I'm happy to stick on him after getting home for his last start, and this also looks to set up just as well. He does step up in grade, however, he's certainly not out of his depth, as the horses he has been up against previously are better than that lower grade anyway. He comes back in trip, but has won at the 1,000 metres, and this sets up in the same way as last start, where he can sit midfield, 1 off, and come over the top, as there is at least 5 horses that will want to be up on the speed in this. 3 weeks between runs is a positive, and Johnson Porter sticks on. I'll keep backing him until he disappoints me.
Yep. What race was that in, mate? I just didn't get it.
Race 8.
Race 8. All right, that's Belmont race 8, Nero Dio. Let's see what price. $5 on Ladbrokes and $1.90. Is that all right?
Yeah. Thanks, mate. Yeah, that's
what you had?
Yeah.
Okay, mate. Anything else at Belmont or around the grounds?
No, that's it, mate. I'm curious to hear what yours is.
Yeah, well, I thought for sure we could. I think it's pretty obvious. Morphettville race 7, Dallasan. We all tipped it last week after its massive run behind. What's that thing called?
Behemoth.
Behemoth. I'm just having a brain explosion. It's $1.50. So, but yeah, a repeat of last week's run. It from barrier 1. If it gets that nice run along the rail, it'll be winning for its trainer, who the race is now named after. It used to be the Penny Edition. Now it's the Leon McDonald listed race. So that's Dallasan at $1.50. And to make it worthwhile, I'm going to chuck it into a multi with the next race after that, race 8, Chucky, at $6. Did have a little suggestion about it last week, last time it ran, and I just said it's a very good horse with a just over 1,100 that week, so it wasn't to suit, and gets up to 1,300 this week, which is what he's been after. He just zoomed home from last over that 1,100 metres to run third, and we knew it was going to be too short. Needs a bit of luck particularly with the apprentice on, but I think that's why you're getting $6. So I'm just going to have a unit on that multi, and we should get about that $9 return. So hopefully that'll be a big finish at Morphettville.
Mate, I'm only going to give you a $5.50 here because, that's what price I've got up on my screen. So
all right, $5.50, it's come in.
Fair's fair.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fair's fair. All right. Well, that comes into about $7.75, I think, something like that. So off the top of my head. All right, fair enough. Roughie Roulette time. Roughie Roulette
is a very dangerous game, not for the faint of heart. Let us begin.
Roughie Roulette, as usual. Boys, as we've got our subscription service going now, which it's great to see those subscribers getting on board. We've got some really cracking followers that we've had for a very long time, and coming into spring, they've just decided, it's time to load up again. I think $30 is pretty good value for 1 month, considering the amount of work we do, and also the fact that we do provide these tips to you on the podcast, so you can get them for free on here if you wish. But we like to, we've still got to keep the tables turning here, and it does cost money. So, but yeah, we love seeing you guys get the results out there, and it's great to have a win together. So definitely something to keep your mind on, and because of that. We haven't had a winner yet on this Roughie Roulette. We've got to have a horse over $20, and it's got to be your first tip. So it's no good giving me 6 tips in a row. You've got to give us 1 tip, and it's got to start over $20. And if you do that, if you put it on the comments, you'll get a free subscription to the service, as I said, valued to $30. And, if there's 10 people that get it on the weekend, then there's 10 free subscriptions. So it'll be a great thing if we can do it. And I'm sure with some of these bigger fields starting up that someone will jag one. Lee, I'll start with you with the Roughie Roulette. Are you in Belmont, I'm guessing?
No, I'm actually in Caulfield, mate, and I've done a just wins here, which is it wasn't when I tipped it and did all the hard work. It was 20-1, and then or $21, and then when I've gone to finalise what I was going to talk about tonight, it's been put into $18. I think that was a scratching. So I'm just going to I'll have to take it top tote in this, but I'm going to go towards race 3, number 16, 1,000 Wishes. I just feel this horse is underrated in the market after what she has produced in her last 5 starts, where she has 1 or 2 and placed in the other 3. It's not like it's been much inferior grade either, as she was unlucky behind Paint the Town 2 at her last start before a spell, which just happened to be at Caulfield in this sort of grade. Paint the Town 2 then went on to win a Group 3 2 starts later. 1,000 Wishes came back from a spell 2.5 weeks ago at the midweeks and was also solid, running third behind a good winner in Shandy, who's actually $8 in the Heatherly later on, which is a listed race. So I think we can take promise out of that 1,000 Wishes going all right. This is a horse that always improves second up as well. Back on a dry ground is a positive, and with the good middle of the line draw, she can get a sweet run up on the speed in a race with not a lot of tactical speed engaged. Jai McNeil is also flying at the moment, riding at 23% so far this season and 14.5% for the last 12 months. So let's get on her at that price.
Yeah, that's $18 and $5.50. So he's hoping that top total get it over 20, and that's a massive field, that one. So and he's drawn nicely. So best of luck there, mate, on 1,000 Wishes in race 3. Adam, what have you got, mate?
Yeah, I'm staying in Rosehill for my Roughie, and it comes up in race 8. This is the race with Magatu, where it's the short price favourite, and it's going to be hard to beat. It's the best horse in the race, but I just feel at 2:30 with the big field, it's drawn the inside. There's a real chance it runs into some trouble. So there's plenty of value to be had outside it. So I'm going to have a crack. And the horse I'm having a crack with is for Chris Waller, number 6, Karzoff. Got Glenn Schofield aboard. This horse has been racing really well. He was actually up in Queensland last start. He ran second behind your Lay this week. Wins in Skate to Paris, but
it's going to run nowhere then.
but he carried 61 kilos. He carried 7 kilos more than Skate to Paris, and he didn't have all the luck either. He was held up slightly. So dropping weight this week. Sorry, mate.
Run second at 60s Groove as well, Karzov.
He did, and I was about to mention that run too, because that was a great run. He got fairway back, and he had to sustain a really big run, and it probably just told late. And those 60s Groove and the Lord Mayor just got over him, but it was a really good run. With the weight relief this week, he's drawn a gate where he should be able to settle midfield, obviously some cover, and hopefully get some luck and run a race and maybe jag a place, or if we're really lucky, get that first winner. So half a unit each way at $23, please.
Yeah, he finished off well, as you said, with that big weight. I think that's what I was sort of alluding to with my lay of the day in Skate to Paris is he had a horse running over 2,100. Yeah, it was in a Grafton Cup, but it came back to 1,600 and just missed behind Skate to Paris. So, and then runs $23 here. So we'll see. But and I think there's about 4 scratchings in there. Probably won't affect you. So you got a Liferous that'll get scratched. It's $20. So should be right there. And that'll be a great start for you for Karzov and the Waller crew. Thanks, mate.
Thank you.
For half a unit each way at $23. I'm obviously where am I? It's great radio. I've already given out my roughie. It's Streets of Avalon in the Memsie at $23 and $6 for half a unit the win. All right, boys, that was pretty quick. Thanks very much for the usual. As I said earlier, guys, give me a DM. I'm always here to have a chat. I've got a little bit on Saturday, but it'll be good to see everyone's results, and hopefully the Roughie Roulette goes on. Thanks again, Lee, for joining us.
No worries. Thanks, boys.
Thank you. Positive vibes as usual. And Adam, thank you.
Thanks, mate. Good luck to everyone again.
Yep. Good luck, followers. And give us a yell if you have a win. We love to see it. And best of luck in the Group 1s on the weekend. Cheers, guys.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to like, share, and get involved in the comments. Best of luck and happy punting.
Can he do it? Chautauqua, he's flying! Yes! There's history!
But a champion becomes a legend. McCartney has won it. The pride of Australia is the greatest show on earth.